The qualities that I bring to Toastmastering are a long experience in a business career, whereas as a purchasing manager and then a purchasing and contracts director, of course, I was involved in arranging lots of functions and training courses and that sort of thing. So I bring to it particular business or organizational skills. And in addition to that, I've been an amateur actor for over 50 years now, a lot of stage experience. So I bring to it stage presence, if you like, and the ability to play just about any role the client might want me to play. I've been established now since 2004. That's when I started the training in October 2004. And by the time of December 2005, I was then admitted as a fellow of the Guild of Professional Toastmasters. That's having done a year's sort of apprenticeship, sitting the written examination, and having been observed on at least 2 occasions by fellows of the Guild to see how I was performing, as well as shadowing other fellows to learn from them. Now, since then, I've done a fair range of weddings and events. The most popular, of course, are weddings, and following that, Masonic ladies' nights. Weddings, well, they range. I remember my first Hindu wedding only too well, because that was a very long affair, and it required a great deal of planning, a great deal of attention to detail, and a lot of patience, because things were going on for quite a while. We were running about an hour and a half late going into the wedding breakfast. Somehow or other, between myself and the caterer, we managed to pull back most of that hour and a half and bring the thing back more or less on to time. The first wedding I ever did was at a converted barn out in Hertfordshire, and the bride was Russian. And she had Russian family members coming over who spoke virtually no English at all. So the first task I had was actually to give a welcoming speech in Russian. And of course, I don't have any Russian either. But it was written out for me phonetically, and I was told what it meant. And having done it, it all seemed to go down extremely well. A lot of rehearsal required for that to get it right, even though I was reading it. A Toastmaster, of course, particularly a professionally trained Toastmaster, and you have to be careful because not all Toastmasters have the same level of professional training as is given by the Guild of Professional Toastmasters. But a professionally trained Toastmaster is an expert in protocol, in etiquette, and has the experience of what happens on a wedding day, what ought to happen on a wedding day, and exactly how it should happen. Now, people will say, but our ushers could do that, or very often we hear this, the hotel have said they'll provide a Toastmaster, and that sometimes is just the banqueting manager trying to fit in some Toastmastering duties around his or her other onerous tasks. The point is, ushers are possibly at their first ever wedding. So they don't know how it operates. They don't know how to do this. They've no idea how, if you like, to organize a large gathering of people in such a way that they are still relaxed even though they are being organized, and they don't actually feel as though they're being organized. And doing it discreetly. Keeping down the number of public announcements that you make, for example. Reminding people from time to time by walking around the room, chatting to them, making sure they're all happy, telling them when you'll be calling them to the tables, telling them how to order their wine for the meal if that's what they need to do, and so on. Rather than making announcements about it and interrupting conversations, so that you let the occasion flow with the people in their private conversations without unduly interrupting. Just a discreet word here and there, letting people know, in about 10 minutes I'll call you to the tables. One thing, of course, that the Toastmaster will always bring to the occasion is the red livery. And that immediately stands out as someone who is in charge, or at least someone who knows what's going on, how it's going to go on, and what's going to happen. And it's a point of information, it's a point of assistance. In any gathering that you go to, the guy in the red coat stands out very clearly as someone to go to if you're not sure what's going to happen next. Plus, the expertise and the experience to help you through and to enable the client, that is the bride and bridegroom, or the master of a lodge and the president for the night, or the chairman of the company, so that they and the people who've helped organize the event can actually relax on the day, in as far as they're able to, and let the Toastmaster take the strain and liaise with the venue, with the banqueting managers, to help overcome any problems that arise, and they're always arising, but the client doesn't necessarily need to know about them. And it's how you handle those things discreetly and just let them know that everything's happening fine. No need to worry. Enjoy yourselves. So if you want to engage me as a Toastmaster, then you can go to my website, which is www.dptoastmaster.co.uk, and on there you'll find all my contact details, telephone numbers, mobile, email address. Now, all Toastmasters operate as freelance, independent Toastmasters. But in the case of myself belonging to the Guild of Professional Toastmasters, of which I'm now a fellow and have been for the last four and a half years, in the event that you've reserved my services and I should fall ill or be unable for some other terrible reason not to be able to do your function, then I have the full support of the Guild of Professional Toastmasters behind me. The Guild celebrated its 40th anniversary last year, so it's a well-established guild. We have some 31 fellows of the Guild, as well as a number of graduates of the Toastmasters Academy waiting to come through to fellowship. I have that support. If I have a problem with an event, I can go into the Guild, talk to the secretary, find out how many of the fellows are available on this particular day, and then I can go around those fellows saying, anybody able to do this job? Now, the good thing about that is that every one of those fellows is fully professionally trained and qualified, and we're covered by the Guild's professional indemnity insurance as well, should anything go seriously wrong for any reason on the day.